And welcome back to the Yellow Jacket Sports Network. Aaron Licht now joined here by senior Cameron Lee from the MSUB men's soccer team. And Cameron, a 3-year team captain here at MSU Billings on the soccer team. Season last semester, it's in the past. But talk about your 4 years here as a player on the soccer team. Again, 3-year team captain. Just talk about your experience at MSUB within the soccer program.
Sure. My 4 years have been more than I could have ever imagined. I came in from the UK not really knowing what to expect because of the different culture, especially Montana, completely different to the UK. But in the best way possible. I came for soccer, and I thought, that's the main area of my life that I was going to grow in, but it proved to be otherwise, and, I've grown more as a human being than anything else as I've been here. And I came in my first year as a freshman with my roommate Samuel Butterworth. We were both freshman starters, played every game. We were very fortunate and had a great first year. I had a good group of seniors that year with now Coach Thomas Shamrod and then last year assistant coach Connor Moe. They led the team. We had an amazing trip to Hawaii. So, that first year was exceptional on the field and off the field. I cultivated so many friendships and memories and experiences that I'll hold with me for the rest of my life. And then, coming to the next year, when the likes of Thomas and Connor, they left the program, there kind of needed to be someone or a few people who stepped up. And maybe I was very inexperienced at the time, but, I wanted to be the captain of the team, not to be the captain, but just to help the team out as best as I could. And, the next 2 years were like a growing phase, rebuilding. And obviously there was a change of head coach. Alex became head coach, and, so the relationship there changed. Thomas became assistant coach. And ever since 2014 up until now, the team has just grown exponentially, and we ended up with 8 wins, first time in 3 years that we're now, again, a winning program. We had some phenomenal results this season, and up until this point, there's been tough times. There's been some phenomenal times too, but just looking back at the experience, I wouldn't change one thing at all.
Yeah, and Cameron, I know you talked about the culture shock of coming to Montana, especially coming from outside the country, native of Cape Town, South Africa, actually. Can you talk about just the different cultures that represent the team? Especially this past season, a lot of international students who are playing soccer, and just how that all works together as a team.
Sure, and I think it stems from Montana soccer not really being a traditional sport up here, and I think that's slowly changing. You have the likes of Magic City and Edge soccer clubs, coming through and trying to be more prominent within the community. But obviously there's maybe a lack of infrastructure in soccer, so there has to be some sort of reciprocation or a way that the coaches can make up for that lack of experience per se. And that's why their coach, Alex, it starts from him being Belgian, and then assistant coach Thomas being French, and then it spreads out. So they have a lot of connections in Europe and worldwide. Obviously we have Reese Lambert, my co-captain, who's from all the way the other side of the world, from Australia, the Gold Coast. We have Thiago Novis, he's from Brazil. We have a lot of Germans on our team. We have a few English lads, Tom Stowell and Samuel Butterworth. And, there's completely different playing styles that you get to experience, and you learn about the different way that the players approach soccer. And, definitely I would say for a lot of the younger players on the team, the likes of, Adam and Tony and all these guys on our team, they can learn, from us older guys and the different approaches we have and incorporate that as they grow into hopefully 4-year starters. But, the different cultures come together nicely, and it's not just on the field that you learn from these guys, but it's mostly off the field that you learn about, you get to speak to these guys on a daily basis about conversations about their families, about the food they eat, the experiences they've had, the things, how they spend their time in their native countries. And it's so eye-opening. And although maybe you haven't necessarily get the chance to travel there or go to those countries, but you almost firsthand get to experience these stories through, your teammates' personal experiences, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and Cameron, you kind of talked about that off the field stuff. Obviously, being here for 4 years, you're very involved within the community. You're very involved on campus. Currently serving as the president of the Student Athletics Advisory Committee. Kind of just speaking about that role specifically, what is your role as the president, and what are some initiatives that you all are working on within that committee?
Um, the SAC is the Student Advisory Athletic Committee is kind of going through a real rebuilding stage right now. Myself and Caitlin and Amanda and Jace, we're all just trying to put forward a plan that future SAC members can have going forward that kind of outlines where they want to go and what we want to do. So it's just kind of your basics, just trying to get as many community service hours as we can, just trying to get that image of MSUB and the Yellow Jackets out there to show that, when the community supports us, that, we want to support them back in turn. And pretty much that's it, just trying to give back as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you all do a lot out in the community, a lot of civic engagement projects that you're working on. Jeff was talking about how involved the men's soccer team is out there in the community. What are some of the highlights that you've experienced in your 4 years doing work out in the community?
Definitely the biggest thing is our relationship with Team Impact, and what that entails is we've picked up a local Billings boy named Sebastian Easton, and he's been battling cancer, and I think he's on the up now. I think he's on the stages of recovery, which is truly amazing. But being able to be part of projects like that where you are able to change someone's life, this little kid that looks up to us like we're heroes, and that's just as rewarding as it is for him. It's just even more rewarding for us, to be able to, go out and play with him in the park and kick a ball, or go to his school and he gives a presentation about the soccer team, or we get to share these experiences with him, and we get to help his family through tough times. And definitely those sort of things is what being here is about, definitely.
Yeah, that's great work you all are doing out in the community, Cameron. That's awesome stuff. And a little bit of some personal questions here. So what's your degree going to be in? I know you're graduating in May, which is exciting. What's your degree going to be in?
It's organizational communication.
Organizational communication. Okay, so for Cameron Lee, what's your outlook in a few months? You graduate, what are you going to be wanting to do?
Currently, I'm interning with the MSUB Foundation, and they've offered me a full-time position starting in the summer. And so for international students, you have to do something called your OPT, which allows you to stay in the country for another year. And so I'll be doing that for 1 year at least. So I'll be in Billings for another year. And the reason I wanted to take that job is because it allows me to help raise money for the athletics department and the college, and in turn give something back to the future athletes and the staff and the faculty that bend over backwards for all our student athletes. And it's the best thing, I think, for me personally, being part of that sort of area now, is that I can really appreciate, the work that athletics department and the faculty have put in for us through the 4 years, because often student athletes are very naive to, how much work goes on behind the scenes. So hopefully I can make more student athletes aware of, what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously today here in Jackson Company is the grad fair. Have you taken advantage of all that? Have you got your robe and all that cool stuff?
Not yet, but after this interview, I'll definitely go take a look
Awesome.
for sure.
Yeah, you should. Okay, well, Cameron, just last question here. What's, being here for 4 years, coming from, your native town in South Africa, what's been your best experience here as a Yellow Jacket? And, I know that's probably a hard question to think of, but if you have anything off the top of your head that really stands out to you.
I'll give you a specific moment on the field
Sure.
this year. It was the MSUB Kicks Cancer Awareness Day for the men's soccer. It was in October, and we played Portland Concordia, who are new to our conference. Very good team. And that was the day, because you guys obviously knew about the passing of Trevor Wildberger, a teammate of ours. His parents came and flew out for the game, and that was the first time we all met them. We had breakfast with them before the game. And we got down and we got to really connect with his parents for, like half an hour, 45 minutes before the game. And then first half, we played them, and it was obviously a very emotional game because of Trevor. We're all playing every game this season in memory of him. And we went 2-0 down against them, and we just, the emotions were maybe a bit too much for a lot of us. But then, halftime, the coaches had a talk with us and told us, just you guys need to sort yourselves out and do what you need to do. And we just looked at each other. Not many words were said, but, just that look of like being able to never give up, definitely took over all of us. And Ricardo Palomino, who's been an amazing addition to the team, he had, one of the best 45 minutes of probably his career, I think he can say, and scored a second half hat trick. But that was just a reflection of the team, of how far we came. And I remember when he scored the third goal, I ran down the winning touchline, and looked at Trevor's dad, and he was in tears. He was just down on his knees and he was in tears, and just being able to look at him and celebrate like that was the best moment of my career as a Yellow Jacket. Just that moment alone made the whole 4 years worth everything, all the pains and all the losses. That moment there was worth more than any win.
Yeah, well, great stuff, Cameron. Definitely appreciate you sharing that experience. And that's going to do it for our interview. Thank you for spending some time with us. Yeah, the 4-year starter, 3-year team captain on the MSUB soccer team, Cameron Lee. Best of luck here in a couple months on graduation and starting the job here this summer.